You've all heard this saying, right? Attack wins games, but defense wins championships. Well, today we're putting that to the test. We're going to break down two of the absolute greatest defensive systems in world rugby. We're talking about a rivalry that's not just about scoring tries, but about an iron will to stop the other team dead in their tracks.
So who are we talking about? Of course, it's the reigning world champs, South Africa, versus the mighty French, Les Bleus. And look, this goes way beyond just big, bone-crunching hits. It's a fascinating tactical chess match that happens when they don't have the ball. We've got two totally different philosophies here, but they're both aiming for the exact same thing: total, absolute, defensive dominance. All right, let's dive into their blueprints.
Okay, first up, the Springboks. I mean, their entire identity is just forged in raw physicality, isn't it? It's not just about making a tackle. It's about imposing their will on you. It's about applying this relentless, suffocating pressure and just systematically taking their opponents apart, piece by piece, over 80 really punishing minutes.
And of course, you can't talk about the Boks without talking about their most famous weapon, the bomb squad. The idea is pretty wild. They load their bench with 6 forwards and only 2 backs. So what does that do? It lets them unleash this whole second wave of pure power, right when the other team is starting to feel it. Honestly, it completely changes the entire dynamic of that last 20-30 minutes of a game.
Yeah, and this quote from a fan really just hits the nail on the head. This is what makes the bomb squad so unbelievably devastating. The guys coming off the bench, they're not just backups. They're genuine, world-class starters. Seriously, just imagine it for a second. You've just spent 50 minutes battling this absolutely monstrous forward pack, and then you look up and see another one just as big, just as powerful, and completely fresh running onto the field. It's just designed to crush you, both physically and mentally. All right, let's switch gears and talk about France. Their whole approach, it's different. It's less about that brute force and way more about being this perfectly engineered defensive machine. And the architect behind it all, the legendary defense coach, Sean Edwards.
And if you want proof of how effective this is, just look at this number, 32. That's it. That's how many points France gave up in the entire pool stage of the 2023 World Cup on home soil. The fewest in the whole competition. It's like a fortress that just gives nothing away for free.
And this really is the Sean Edwards philosophy in a nutshell. The target sounds simple, right? Keep them under 20 points. But to actually do that in international rugby, that is so incredibly difficult. But if you can, you're basically giving your amazing attack the best possible chance to go out and win you the game. So how do they do it? Well, the secret is this super structured system called the up-square defense. So instead of defenders drifting sideways, which is what usually creates gaps for attackers to run through, each player just shoots forward in a straight line in their own channel. They don't drift, they just squeeze. They shut down the space, and then the players on the fold sweep around to cover the wide guys. It literally suffocates the attack, taking away all their time and space. But man, it takes incredible discipline to pull it off and build that unbreakable blue wall.
So you have these two completely opposing styles, and they collided in that absolutely unforgettable 2023 World Cup quarterfinal in Paris. And let me tell you, this was so much more than just a rugby match. It was a high-stakes game of tactical chess where every single move, every decision could be the one that won or lost the whole thing. Okay, so here was France's plan. They knew the Springboks thrive in a stop-start game, with lots of scrums and lineouts, which means lower ball-in play time. So what did France do? Their plan was kind of genius. Run them off their feet, keep the ball on the pitch at all costs, avoid any stoppages, and just completely drain the gas tanks of those huge South African forwards. The goal was to tire them out before the bomb squad could even make a difference.
And did it work? Well, look at this. 1. That is how many lineouts the Springboks got in the entire first half. A team that builds its game around the set piece. By just refusing to kick for touch, France took away one of their biggest weapons. It was a tactical masterstroke, really. But, and this is the crucial part, the Springboks are world champions for a reason. They adapted. They realized, okay, we're not going to beat France at their own running game. So they flipped the script and turned their own kicking game into an attacking weapon. But here's the twist. They didn't just kick to relieve pressure. They kicked when they were on the front foot, at the height of their own momentum, to attack a French defense that was suddenly scrambling and out of position.
I mean, the whole game was just a battle of inches. Both teams were landing these huge blows. But in the end, it was that ability to adapt, to change strategy right there on the fly, that was just just enough for South Africa to snatch that heartbreaking one-point win. So, that was then. What does all this mean for their next massive showdown on November 9th, 2025? Well, as you know, rugby never stands still. And believe me, neither of these teams do. The whole tactical story, it's already changing.
See, South Africa knows they can't just be a team that peaks for World Cups. They've brought in a new attack coach, Tony Brown, and they're seriously working on building an attack that is every bit as scary as their defense. They're trying to marry that traditional physical DNA with a lot more creativity and relentless speed.
And this quote from Tony Brown himself, wow, it's a massive statement of intent, isn't it? Can I make a massive difference? 100% I can. The goal here is pretty clear. They want to become truly dominant all the time, not just in the big knockout games. They're looking to add a sharp, creative, clinical edge to all that raw power.
So this is what sets up such an absolutely tantalizing new chapter for 2025. It's not just the old story of South Africa's power versus France's structure anymore. Nope. The new battle is going to be South Africa's newfound adventurous attack going up against that disciplined, battle-hardened French defensive fortress. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that this incredible rivalry is entering a brand new phase. It's become a clash of evolving philosophies. Will the Springboks' new attacking genius finally be the key that unlocks the world's most organized defense? Or is that blue wall just going to stand firm once again? Man, November 9th, 2025 cannot get here fast enough.